Okay. We are live. We are live. It looks like we have 8 people on. If you guys can see me, hear me, um, feel this, can you please just drop a message in the chat? Uh, and I want to just be able to make sure that everyone is here and we're technically operating everything well. I'm just going to log on and see myself too. Where just post in the chat where you guys are watching this from, and it looks like I'm live, and it looks like people are able to watch. Just want to know if you guys can hear me, and then I want to have like a live view of the chat as well. Okay, it looks like Leonardo is there from Brazil. That's amazing. Okay, let's see. Let's see. We have Ryan Schmidt. We can hear you. Okay, guys, as many people as possible, just so that I can see that would be amazing. I'm just going to go ahead and share this. We'll get started momentarily. Just going to share this in various groups. I believe we also had the email just dip out, so there should be people. Alex, what's up? Guys, we have I see there's a lot more of you on the call right now. So if you could just type in the chat. Okay, Kyle's here. Amazing. Okay. Amazing. Okay. Cool. All right, we're going to get started momentarily. A lot of you guys are watching from YouTube. A lot of you guys are coming in from Zoom. We're going to get started any minute now. While we're here, just zone in. Again, if you're on YouTube, please type in the chat. Also, drop a comment as well. I'd like to see in the comments some energy in there, like not just the chat, but also the comments section too. Okay, Luke is here. Lucio is here. Amazing. Okay. All right. I'm pretty excited for this. So the last time we did this, sadly, we weren't recording. This time we're recording for sure because it's being streamed live to YouTube. So it has to be recording. I was devastated when the previous call we did last week was not recording. This one 100% is. So if it's not, then for some reason somebody doesn't want this to be recorded live, but or some ethereal forces don't want to be recorded live. Okay, I'm going to drop this link in Instagram. Thank you guys so much for being here. We are live. Boom. James is here. Aaron, Matt, good to see you. Grant, good to see you. Luke Britton, good to see you guys. Amazing. Okay. Very good. Very amazing. Very cool. Okay. So let me start off by just screen sharing. I'm going to screen share. This works. Okay, it looks pretty good on YouTube to me. Let me know if you guys are seeing this or if it's loading properly. Okay. Does this look good to you guys? Yes, in the chat? Yes. How about if I go full screen? Oh, that changes things, at least on my end. I'm going to try not full screen. Can't hear me. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me? Yes. Never mind. Okay, cool. Cool. So I'm going to, so that we are in. Okay, we got Randy. We've got Bronson. We've got Brant. We've got everyone. Okay, so what I'd love for you guys to do as well is type in the chat where you're in from and just making sure everything is operating. Make sure the chat's good, make sure the audio's good, then we'll dive right in. Okay, Gold Coast, Australia, Giroud, amazing. Nashville, Tennessee, amazing. Long Island, New York, amazing. San Francisco, but just landed in LA today, amazing. Ryan Schmidt, LA, cool. Cool. All right. Let us begin, guys, with just a very brief 1-minute meditation before we go in here. I want to obviously acknowledge the gravity of the situation of the world right now and give prayers and honor to Charlie Kirk, to, of course, all of the people that tragically died in 9/11 as well. And if we could all just for a moment sit up straight, put your hands, wherever is comfortable, eyes are closed, focus on your conception of truth, your conception of God, and just call in, the highest good, the energy of the highest good that you can touch. And we just really want to, on this call, we want to honor truth, honor love. And again, please, everybody, just tap into this. If you're driving, obviously don't be doing this while driving, but if you're able to, just close your eyes for a moment, honor your conception of God, honor your conception of the highest good, love, whatever that means to you. Just breathe in and relax the entire body. And we'll just go into a brief period of silence, again, focusing on love, joy, peace, the highest good that there is. For some of you, you might connect to Christ. Of course, Charlie Kirk is a very avid Christ supporter, so we can honor Christ, life of Jesus. Perhaps if you're Jewish, you connect to Adonai, God the Father. If you're Muslim, you connect to Allah. If you're Hindu, perhaps any number of spiritual leaders or Krishna or whatever aspect of God you choose. If you're atheist, you can simply honor the divine, ever-present current of holy energy that emanates everything and every cell of your body, gives us life. The language, the words can change over time, but the truth is persistent. Just relax all the tension in your body. As we come into this zone together. Amen. Okay, let's dive in. So, guys, I'm going to start off by saying that if you're here, you are obviously guided here by some sort of ethereal forces, and this call might be a very transformational call. I know the last time that I did this, it was very transformational, and this could be, it's going to be a very inspirational call for many of you, and it could be the beginning of something that transforms your life. So, let's start off with a story. So earlier this year, guys, my life burned to the ground. And tonight I'm going to share with you how that powerful destruction led to a vision so powerful that it quite literally manifested in real life in front of my eyes. And I'm going to share why what I'm about to reveal tonight could be one of the most important invitations that you ever receive. And a story about what could possibly even be a divine kind of prophecy coming true in real time. And so before we continue, I put a lot of work into this. guys, again, this is the second time that I'm doing this. The first time didn't record. And there were obviously people around the world that wanted to attend but couldn't because of the time zone. So here's what I'm asking for you guys today. In me putting another week of preparation and getting the message out there to make this special for you guys, I ask for 100% participation, whether you're watching this now, whether you're watching this later on. Just participate as if you were watching it live. And if you're here live, I am really grateful for you. But I hope that, I hope that God can, speak through me in this, and that these words are alive to many of you and give you life and energy and love. And if you are here, whatever time that might be, I ask that you participate, that you put questions in the chat and comments, and whatever it is that you're feeling during the course of this, leave a comment in the chat. Whether you love it or hate it, I just want you to express whatever truth is coming on your heart. So it's very annoying when I make presentations and I don't get engagement back and I feel like I'm talking to myself, and I'm literally staring at the chat, and I will read every comment on this because I like that kind of connection. And so I encourage active listening. Obviously, don't spam the chat. And, if you're here live, again, just like being annoying, but just engage. Okay. Especially if I ask a question for a response. So I also want you to, number two, commit that you're going to implement what I'm going to show you guys today. Because nothing pains me more than sharing what are and have been life-changing insights for me on my journey, only to have people hear them. And then like years later, I'm talking to them, whether in person or on social media, and they're like, oh yeah, this actually happened super recently. You should like totally pursue this path. And I gave him like a whole 2.5 hour breakdown of something that would change his life if he did it. And literally 2 years later, he's still not doing it. And I'm just like, yo. So I really ask that you guys commit to taking action on what I'm about to share with you guys today. And if we have a deal, can you please comment 100, the number 100 in the chats right now, so I can just see that before we move on. And again, if you're watching this later on, just type in I love truth in the comment section. Just type in I love the truth. I love truth. That's all I want to see. Okay, amazing. So before we go any further, I need to address a few things, some things, just so that we're all on the same page. So first of all, how many of you see yourself as creators or founders or visionaries in some aspect who are secretly dealing with any of the following? Number one, creative death. You feel like you've been building something, or you've built something your whole life and dedicated all your energy into this thing, but a part of you still feels dead and empty, as if there's maybe a hole inside of you. You're making some money, but you feel like you've lost your art. You've lost a connection to something greater and more powerful. You don't feel like you're contributing to an actual legacy with what you're doing. Rather, you're basically just producing for money. You're producing for the world, but not producing for your soul. Second thing, do any of you feel frequency isolation, where you're surrounded by people who don't quite match your frequency, and you wonder, where are the people who truly get it? Who are not just motivated by money, but who are motivated by something beyond that. They're trying to build something that changes the world or express truth, and they want to awaken people. And then the third thing, does anyone relate to this one? And type in the comments or the chat if you relate to any of the things that I'm speaking here. The hamster wheel. You feel that you've trapped yourself in your own wheel of some form of optimization, whether it's making more money or getting to the next step in your career. And you just keep building more systems and more content and more fixing things and working endlessly. But where's the legacy? Where's the legacy? And what are you actually leaving behind? And the very last thing, spiritual starvation. Who relates to this? Where you know there's something deeper calling you, but you're too busy in your hamster wheel system with too many tasks to listen to the quiet voice within you and to follow that vision. So yes, cool. Here's what few will tell you that I will tell you. And it's that one thing that I found is that this world is invisibly designed to make you want to chase getting rich only to feel empty. You've been programmed to treat yourself like a machine, when what you really crave is to remember how to live like an artist. And we're truly all born artists, but the world does everything it can to make us forget that. And the world makes the false path the loudest, the most tempting, and full of false but tempting promises. While the artist path, the path of truth, the path of God, the path of alignment, is uncommon. And even if you do hear that path and you do see that path as an option, it feels borderline impossible to follow. Who here relates to this? Comment below this video if you're resonating. So you're about to witness a pretty wild story. But since I know that many of you do want to make more money as well, regardless of all the spiritual talk, you're going to learn some pretty valuable lessons throughout the story. You're going to learn about attention dynamics, which is something that I intentionally posted, and you'll see in the story. I intentionally posted agitative content that generated 500 plus applications for my business and $132,000 in revenue within 3 days, and the psychology behind it. I'm going to talk about the info on building a cultural movement. So how to grow beyond money, right? And numbers, and follow the calling on your heart while building something that generates legacy level wealth. Okay. And then a very fun one, an AI vision board method, where this is how to use AI to create a very compelling vision that apparently works like magic, as you guys will see. And we'll also be focusing on these 3 mechanisms for building a cultural visionary level movement without fear. Okay. So number 1, we're going to go into all of these in detail. It's called the vision reception method, which is an exact 30-minute morning routine that I follow to essentially align myself to God, download visions that God wants me to follow that are so powerful that you can't even really sleep, and they power you and they charge you up, and why 99% of people go about this all wrong. Number 2 is the destruction creation cycle, which is what every artist goes through, and how to go through the process of, as you get this vision, how to let go of the old identity that's killing your soul and stamping out your soul, so that your new true artist self can be reborn. And number 3, the action bridge. So this is how to take bold action in the face of fear and uncertainty to will your vision into unfolding. Okay. So we're going to go over all 3 of these in detail. But before all this, how did these ideas get revealed to me? Well, earlier this year, my life burned to the ground. And ironically, I had just spent literally torching into my savings on a creative project, the 8 a.m. album. And this album was about focusing on the inner world, as the outer world is impermanent. And money and status and things, they can rise and fall around you. They can give you a false sense of security. But the kingdom of heaven is within you. So can you imagine the odds that this is the album cover of my album? The album was this photo I took on my iPhone on the 4th of July, a red sky out my window. And the second song on the album was somehow titled Through the Fire. How could it have been anything other than a divine prophecy? I ask you guys that. Like, completely unedited photo. The whole album is about impermanence, red sky, and then months later, our entire city burns to the ground. So that's what happened. And this is myself and my partner, my girlfriend, Chloe, at a hotel the day this is happening. The fires are burning down our entire city. We were, no place to live, savings down to nothing, insurance, no help at all. They didn't want to pay us a cent. All Chloe and I had left was one t-shirt, like literally the clothes on our backs, one t-shirt, a pair of shorts, and her 8 a.m. sweat set. No makeup, no wardrobe. Zara became our closet. And the rest of it, all the furniture, the clothes, the life that we built, it sat in our apartment surrounded by our stuff. All of a sudden, things that and weeks passed, and we were crashing at hotels first. And then when we realized insurance wasn't going to give us anything, we moved to our friends' apartments. And we were just surfing around, first San Diego, then different parts of LA, waiting to see if the fires would die down and maybe we could move back in. But of course they didn't. And a month later, the fires weren't even contained yet. And so for the first time in my life, after 9 years as an entrepreneur, I took a job. And I was a creative consultant. I basically got offered a job by a very high-level startup, but company that raised hundreds of millions of dollars in New York City, based in New York, a massive team, and selling, essentially financial tools to businesses. And we found ourselves living in a hotel again, this time in New York City. But we had to go to Zara all over again because we didn't have any clothes. Like, here I am in this photo. I look so stupid. I'm like wearing friends' clothes. This is the first night in our hotel. And then we're like shopping at Zara because we literally didn't have any more clothes. And so suddenly I was wearing a suit. I had a desk, a LinkedIn, and a real career. And I guess all the instability of my neighborhood burning down and all of that motivated me to do something concrete finally. And so I learned NYC finance bro language. What's GPV, float, interchange fees, basis points, credit terms, banking regulations. And miraculously, the stuff that I built at that company ended up helping give the company a record quarter. But alas, the corporate life began to weigh on my soul, and probably quicker than most people. You could call this my New York City era where I was riding around on the subway, the concrete canyon walls surrounding me, the exciting buzz of a big city. But amidst the outer environment, I kept my internal environment pristine, like a shrine. And I meditated. I used specific practices every single morning, attuning myself to God. And I kept this practice even in the busiest and most chaotic city in the world. So slowly, as I really started to prioritize, my internal connection to the divine, slowly things began to unravel on the external again, right? And no matter how much I tried to fit in corporate America, the last month that I was there, something started to kind of break loose within me. And this is where it sort of started. You can see that I am heavily agitated in this photo. This light in this office that I was in was like a like one of those lights that if you film it in slow motion, you can look at it in 120 frames a second or 240, and it's just flickering. And it was just, I could tell, like, even though my conscious mind doesn't see it as flickering, it was like zapping my brain, dude. I was like, this is like crazy. So at one point, my brain actually broke. And it was March 14th, 2025, less than 3 months into my corporate career, where you can see my camera roll. This is from March 14th. I start making these designs. And real quick, I see some messages in the chat before I continue here. Is everything coming through well? I know, I just want to make sure that nothing's like super pixelated, so that you guys are getting the full extent of this message. Can I just get confirmation by everybody right now in the chat who's watching live? Is this coming through for everybody? Making sure. Yes. Okay. Looks good. Sounds good. Great. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So this is my camera roll from March 14th. So this is like not even 2.5 months into my corporate life. And you can see, what does this even mean? Only for visionaries, 2025, 2026, you're invited. And it has my 8 a.m. brand logo. Like, what does that even mean? And then you can see there I am in the office doing the frat wrist flick, or the con music wrist flick. I'm screenshotting old photos from Bali and my 8 a.m. brand. Here I'm looking at like Kabbalistic Jewish wisdom of this thing called the Sephiro. And then if you zoom in on this tweet here, it's like a Kanye tweet storm about how offensive marketing he is, and etc. Everyone knows what Kanye's on. I'm bookmarking Kanye's tweets. And then I'm hanging out with Hunter Isaacson, who, if you guys know Hunter, he's got some pretty wild ideas as well. He's like a multimillionaire tech entrepreneur, quoting Bible verses. This is March 15th, looking into Epstein's Island. And then the hotel that I check into, because I'm still living in hotels at this point, of course, is labeled 2208, which is like kind of a numerological type thing. Then I'm screenshotting whatever you would even call this stuff, like a procession for Yogananda, some very strange floating islands and AI kind of weirdness or art, whatever is going on, koi pond nature. And then I'm walking down the street and I'm looking at the Freemason Lounge and clearly going down some kind of rabbit hole, looking like Dharma yoga or something like that. So one night I'm in my hotel room and I start to get a vision. And images were flashing before my eyes, keeping me up at night, and I could not shake these images. And it felt like I was entering a parallel dimension that was bleeding into my subconscious. And so I ran these like images. I was like typing prompts into AI to make them real. And they were like a different world, like completely opposite of New York. And here's some of these images, you know, like this is just what the visions I was getting were. These kind of monk figures walking upstairs, like a gym in nature, and a guy, meditating, people eating healthy food around a table. And here I am with Hunter on this night, still March 15th. We're going to this sauna, this Russian banya, where it's like 200-degree saunas. And then you get hit with leaves. They're called planta. And it's like a crazy borderline spiritual experience. Then here you can see I'm eating borscht, which is like the Russian soup mixed with pimeni, which is like a chicken noodle thing. And I'm making this AI video and downloading this vision even further. You can see there I am doing that. So here is some more of the visions just up close, people working in like a sanctuary type place, nature, healthy juices, a amazing gym, healthy, fit people, people discussing philosophy, um, chefs cooking healthy, organic food, amazing sushi platters, and people discussing ideas, and then girls getting ready to go out and have fun and enjoy life, listen to house music, and have a fun night. And so these were some of the images I was getting. I then took the images, turned them into videos with AI, and put them in CapCut. And I was just making this cool video. And so the day after the vision, I released two songs, Bloodline and Nobility and Vibrational Warfare. And people ended up really liking these songs. And that same day, we got reports back from a toxicity lab about our building in LA. So we basically finally got the report back from the official fire department saying that everything that we owned in that apartment was confirmed. So our place didn't burn down, for perspective, but everything that we owned was now toxic, full of chemicals that could give you cancer, other diseases. In other words, it basically seemed like all of the stuff that we had was just lost. So meanwhile, I felt like our New York chapter just wasn't flowing. I was getting very antsy just in corporate America. And I think the reason was because I wasn't taking on action on that vision that I was sensing in my heart. So Chloe and I decided to fly back to LA to finally get back into our apartment to try to salvage some of our things. And how bad was it, you might be wondering? On the left, of course, that's the before, and the right is the after. There's our bank. There's our Starbucks. There's our church. It was worse than you could possibly imagine. These are structures, basically everything. And I actually drove through here a few days ago. I'm back in LA as I'm recording this, and I drove right past the street. All you see is chimneys and a little bit of metal. Everything else is on the ground, totally eviscerated. It literally looks like a war zone. All you see are just chimneys. It's pretty much the only thing. So we finally get back. We're allowed back into our apartment because obviously we weren't allowed there for a while. And we had to mask up, put these like coverings around our whole body, our feet. And the air, it was like thick, hinting of that smoke. And it tasted like rotten eggs blended with asbestos. And the walls were sweating pesticides. It was completely unlivable. And it wasn't just in our clothes and designer bags and furnitures that we lost. It was really the small things that got to us. It was the blankets that we picked up from farmers markets. It was Christmas gifts, housewarming gifts from friends, and little artifacts that, couples would collect when they think they're building a home. And we now knew with heartbreaking certainty that we were never going to go back. And ironically, the only thing that survived in our apartment untouched was one Sage Willows painting titled The Way, the Truth, and the Light. And it sat there like a reminder that everything in the outer world can be stripped away. So my home was all of a sudden a depressing war zone. And in an effort to cheer us up, I did the only logical thing that I could think of at this point, having felt like I lost everything. And I started to create that vision in my head, first by assembling a community. So to do this, I went on the number one platform for making money in any niche with little effort as fast as you can, which is, in my experience. And to make money on Instagram, you must understand the algorithm and attention dynamics. And so I started posting about I started basically posting some pretty vile stuff about being Jewish. And I am Jewish, but I was like using this meme of like Jews run the world to front run this idea that I'm starting a community. And people thought it was outrageous. Some people were mad. Some people were, laughing hysterically. But I was posing as like Kanye's arch Jew nemesis and that I'm starting this community. And people, I mean, they were flying off the wall with like excitement about it. And attention dynamics, it's vastly misunderstood. Memetics are actually a very complicated thing in nature. And you actually need to pair the right meme with the right thing for your business. And in my case, the Jews run the world meme, which is perpetuated constantly, was perfect. And this is what I call MPMF, mimetic product market fit. And when you see DMs refreshing every single minute, like you're seeing on my screen, you just know that you're going to make money because you have attention, you have interest, and they want to know what else you're doing. And they learn about your actual business offering, and then they become a customer. And so I posted this a couple of days later. Keep in mind, I'm still working at this banking startup. And I go, I don't make the rules. I follow the energy and do what creates momentum. And for some reason, talking about being a hot, sexy Jew is what people want. I don't really want to be a stanky, slimy Jew, but that's my life now. So yeah. And even though what I was doing at the bank would go on to help lead a record quarter in revenue for that business, well, basically banks are heavily regulated and you simply cannot do attention dynamics the way that I was doing it. Major no-no. So the CEO, who's actually a very good friend of mine, we decided to part ways. However, the attention dynamics that I was doing got over 500 applications for the 8 a.m. World V1 Vision. And we hand selected the first 25 people, brought in 132,000 in revenue from that single push. And this shows the other remaining contacts that we built from a pretty detailed like ManyChat application sequence. So now my corporate career looked like my neighborhood, which isn't that funny, but it did. And I then dove headfirst into more action on my vision. So I reinvested the profits from the business and started creating events that reflected that vision that I had in my head. The first one we did was in Austin, and here's like a photo of that DJ set. Here's kind of the setup of the tea that we had and like the branded, moss and the rocks and the chocolates. We rented out the space and tried our best. There's Chloe and I at the event, just trying to make that vision come to life. And there's the sushi platter from the AI video. We tried to make it look almost exactly like the vision that I had. And then we threw another event in New York City. And shout out to everybody who was at the New York event and the Austin event. This one was a really fun one. We did it a bit of a different style, but you can see that we had the vision that I had in my head in the background. And so the next morning after the New York event, we got on a flight to Bali to throw some events in Bali. Violent, fast actions, you can see. I was not wasting any time. I was taking the profits from the business and using them to put this vision into life, whatever that meant. So there we are on the flight, showing up to Bali. There's Jesse, my buddy Jesse, who's a 4th degree jiu-jitsu master, martial artist. Here we are meditating in the morning, going to yoga, sometimes with monks. We ate the best, healthiest organic food. If anybody here's been to Bali, it's just paradise from a health perspective. You can wake up, pray, meditate, eat the healthiest food, get a fresh coconut, and it's all like a couple bucks for at least the food. This is one of my favorite gyms. Here I'm enjoying life, got the camera in my head, I'm vibing. I have this amazing like chicken, rice, lemon, avocado dish. And then after the little morning we had, I would work on new music and other creative projects. Around 1 p.m., I'd go to the best gym in the world. This is one of my favorite places in the world, and I travel a lot. So as you can see, this gym is like pretty amazing. And then in the afternoon, we would talk philosophy with interesting people. This is Mike, and Mike is like an oracle, a wizard type guy. Like he has a lot of amazing wisdom. Keep an eye on that face, by the way. And we did jujitsu. This guy, Tom, he's like the Elastic Man. These are some of the guys that had joined 8 a.m. World. Daily massages, cupping. Yeah, I even got my toes massaged and cut for the first time since like my hockey career. And in the afternoon, we had more creative time. Then we had some of the healthiest dinner you can imagine, eating like just amazing, raw fish or beets and salad and like just food that gives you life. And then we would DJ and make music by night. So here I am DJing with my buddy Jesse. Here's the party that we threw, the actual event that we put together for 8 a.m. World, and all the people that we ended up bringing together. And so after a few weeks into this trip, something really strange happened. This is my friend Shaden, and Shaden had just bought the land that is pictured behind him there. And I'm looking at these steps and I go, wait a second, that looks awfully like the vision that I had that I made with this AI tool. And so I'm starting to be like, wait a second. And I go into my camera archive and I realize this is a villa that we were looking at. And it looked exactly like the image that I kind of had in the AI vision. This is a gym that we were going to, right? It looked exactly like the vision. A gym built in nature. Here I am, doing my prayer meditation in the morning, and there is my girlfriend Chloe, and she looks almost exactly like the girl in the image. So this was just like starting to blow my mind, right? I'm looking at this. This is me DJing the party, and there's the image, right? So slowly I start to realize, like, I think I'm meant to build this. And I'll be honest, I've been really afraid to put what I'm about to share with you guys out into the world because it's so pure in my mind. And I've been procrastinating for some good months on putting this out there now because, like so many times in my life before, the fact that I was afraid to put it out there whispered to me that I had to do it regardless of the outcome. I had to make the leap of faith. And I told myself, so what if the world rips it apart? So what if I share what I'm about to share with you guys and you guys hate it in the comment section? At least I tried, and at least then I shared the truth that was put upon my heart. And so I reveal to you right now, for the first time, totally publicly, totally vulnerably, my vision for 8 a.m. World. But before we break that down, I promised you guys that I would break down the mechanisms that lead to breakthroughs like this one so that you can action this in your own life. So the first thing is what I call vision reception. And this component is about how you download really your life's work directly from God. Like, how do you actually tap into, I want to be a man aligned on my highest purpose for good. And how do I tap into that? And it can be defined as the ability to receive visions or insights or creative downloads that seem to come from beyond your conscious mind and from the conventional path. And it's important because your greatest creations don't come by force. They're received. So the 8 a.m. album, which I was speaking about earlier, the Bali vision that I'm sharing here, even this talk, all received from divine attunement. And it involves quieting the analytical mind, surrendering to any outcome in the face of fear, opening to possibility, trusting what comes through, even when it seems impossible. And the way you do this is by every morning, 30 minutes of prayer meditation, and then each moment of the day, surrendering to discomfort through relaxing with breath, which is a lot easier said than done. So my question to you guys in the chat right now, please 100% engagement in the comment section in the chat. Who here is actually going to start committing to prayer, meditation, and this idea of divine attunement so that you can receive visions that will actually change your life's trajectory so that you're not caught on that hamster wheel of soul death that just crushes your soul and your creativity and makes you a battery in a machine? Who's actually going to start committing to this in the chat? Who feels called to do this? Who's actually going to commit to this? Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Okay, mechanism number 2. So the destruction creation cycle. Now, this is the second component. I call it the destruction creative cycle. And it's important to know that every great artist, every visionary, and every cultural leader has gone through this. This is the process of letting go of your old identity, letting your old identity die so that your true self can be reborn. And it's important because you can't create something new while clinging to something old. You need to be a clear vessel. And what's involved in this is surrendering control, piercing the fourth chakra, which is essentially your heart, allowing your heart to lead you, even if it's scary, and embracing uncertainty in the process and trusting the process, even if it looks like total chaos. And the way you do this is by surrounding yourself with spiritual texts, spiritual experts, leaders, monks, priests, nature, the God of nature, right? The power of nature, aligned creatives and artists. And in this environment, you can way more easily let go of the safe path, the one that keeps you small and shuts down that little creative voice, that big creative voice inside of you, makes you think it's small, makes you let go of the old you so that who you think you should be is not who you are, and you become who you're meant to be. I'm going to say that one more time. In this environment, when you're surrounded by the right people and the right and the word of God, you can more easily let go of who you think you should be and become who you're meant to be. So mechanism number 2, who sees yourself actually going through a destruction creation cycle? Can you actually commit yourself to this? Do you see yourself literally letting go of old structures, however comfy those might be, for a vision that's placed on your heart? That might be an old business that you have to let go of that's cushy and making a lot of money. That might be a product in your business. That could be a job that you have. That could be a relationship that's holding you down, a location that's holding you down, a lifestyle of drinking and partying and whatever it might be, friends that are holding you down. And yes, this is often very required. I had to do this countless times in my life. The destruction creation cycle. You have to let go of the old in order to allow room for the new to be created. Who here sees that? Reading the chat and the comments. Amazing. So mechanism number 3, the action bridge. So in the third component is the action bridge. And this is how you turn visions into reality. So this is the process of taking actual bold action in the face of fear on what you receive in the spiritual realm and making it physical in the material world. And this is extremely important because a vision that you receive without action is just a dream energy stuck in limbo. And action without any sort of divine guidance or vision is literally just busy work, soul sucking busy work. So you need both the vision, attunement, and massive levels of action. And this involves bold, decisive action, community support, and the courage to build something the world has never seen, following a path that no one before you has followed. And the way that you do it is you get a support network for your vision. You almost like a vision laboratory, and you start building your vision alongside other visionaries who understand your frequency and push you into it with encouragement instead of telling you, oh, that's a stupid idea or whatever, or you should follow this path or that path. They actually encourage you to follow, as corny as it sounds, your dreams. So the question is, will you action your vision in the face of fear and public scrutiny? Will you actually do that? And again, if you're watching this later on in the comment section, then please share there. If you're here live, I see all of your responses. Amazing. Okay. So far, we have covered a method for receiving visions and the story of how that happened to me that will define your legacy and how destruction becomes creation when you understand this cycle, the action bridge between vision reception and material manifestation, and perhaps a story that you might remember that will hopefully inspire you. So again, please share in the chat. Has your time watching this been worthwhile today? At this point on this call, if you're watching this later, then you maybe have a whole string of your own comments you're responding to. Has this been useful? I want to see the kind of stream of thoughts as they're coming to you. Can you see yourself doing something this transformational yourself and in your own life? And do you relate to this? Big time. Yes. Alignment. Okay. Don't bullshit me either. Like, give me the real. I want to know the real. Yes. Okay. For sure. Good. Okay. So some of you guys honestly can do pretty incredible things and will do pretty incredible things with just what I have shared with you in the last 30 minutes alone. But of course, I haven't even revealed the vision yet, which is why you're all here in the first place. And that is your other option. So this is an option where we actually do this together. And when you see what I've created for October of 2026, I think you're going to understand what's really at stake here. So introducing 8 a.m. World. 8 a.m. World is a 6-day experience in Uluwatu, Bali, with some of the world's top young creatives, artists, and entrepreneurs. It's a week that begins with monks guiding the group through meditations, prayer and meditation, the best fitness experience the world has to offer, fresh organic foods, enlightening and philosophical conversations, Mother Nature, and music. And creative tools and experiences to help you tap into higher creative power for a true ascension to the legacy that you're meant to leave. It's a complete immersive experience with luxury accommodation, organic meals, as I said, monk-guided prayer and meditation, creative work and studio sessions, adventure experiences, and fully trained content capturing team on site. What's included is everything here, and we're going to break down all of these one by one. So location and accommodation. In my vision, and I wanted to honor this vision. I just wanted to be obedient to the vision that was being put in my heart by, I would say, God. And in my vision, the accommodation just is a luxury experience while simultaneously being engrossed in nature. And it would have to feel like the structures were emanating from the earth and encouraging introspection and expansion. So this was one of the places that I explored while I was in Bali. And it's called the Uluwatu Surf Villas. It's a collection of luxury villas on the edge of a cliff by the ocean in Uluwatu. And we're going to do it in October 2026. So this is like a view from one of the cliff sides villas overlooking a 200-foot cliff. And this villa alone is $20,000 a week to rent. And there's some more photos of it. You can see there's like, it's all built with like wood. There's nature everywhere you look. There's streams flowing, fish, salt water, pools. I mean, the architecture is just inspiring and gorgeous. It literally looks like it's emanating from the earth. Imagine like the types of downloads you can receive at a place like this. And now another part of my vision is that everyone is violently creating dope shit together and envisioning whether it's new businesses using the latest tech, new styles of music, literally anything that the group can kind of come up with together. And it can be people creatively problem solving together with your existing businesses or making something entirely new. And for this, I envision creative spaces. So we plan to build creative spaces on site, whether it's a music studio or having like standing desk monitors or whiteboards or whatever you would need to execute your vision. And there's also, of course, inspiring things all over the property. We'll interview everybody individually and make sure that whatever it is that your vision actually is, we're going to have stuff there. So if you grew up playing drums, we'll have a drum set. If you grew up playing piano, we'll have a piano. If you grew up loving to paint, we'll have painting supplies. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be limited to music and art. Anything that you can envision. If you're an engineer, we'll have engineering stuff, maybe like a 3D printing machine or whatever. Anything to exercise your creativity to the absolute fullest. And the point of this is that it's everything around the property is meant for you to take those secret visions you've always had and never fulfilled and make them real. And then the environment, of course, will have the monks and the spiritual guides along the property, the freshest, healthiest food that you're having every single day, available whenever you feel called to it. We'll have access to the best gym in the world and these creative spaces. And then, of course, the environment of Bali as well. Like this, you're on a 200-foot cliff or surrounded by nature. It's like one of the most gorgeous places in the world. The daily ritual will wake up around 7 a.m., start with meditation, prayer meditation with the monks, maybe a cold plunge. We'll have saunas available, coffee, fresh local fruit, organic breakfast, and then just total creative rampage from 9 to 1 p.m. Around 2 p.m., gym, surfing, hiking, any sort of active style stuff to just get you up and moving. Massage if you want to book a massage. Then from 4 to 7 p.m., we'll have the second creative block where you can do whatever it is that you want, collaborating among genius creative people from around the world. And then at 7 p.m., dinner, another healthy dinner. And then after that, the last creative block, 9 p.m. to whenever you feel called to go to bed. I think we should have lights out around midnight so everyone gets a good night's sleep because that's important as well. So I really want everyone who's watching this, whether live or later on, to just close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. Imagine you wake up in a clifftop villa in Uluwatu. The sound of waves crashing 200 feet below. You walk out to your private terrace where there's 73 other visionary creatives, people who actually get you, who are already gathering for sunrise prayer and meditation with monks draped in saffron robes. You tap into this divine attunement set together by the monk's frequency. And then over the next 6 days, you tap into your true creative calling and start creating it violently among your peers. Imagine the magic that can happen in an environment like this. You, along with over 70 others, along with me, literally creating the stuff that will define your legacy. People playing music in different areas, meditating in others, yoga in others, working out in nature. A total creative rampage. And you return home with a crystal clear 12-month or even life legacy long vision that excites you more than any other business plan ever has. A cinematic library of content, because we'll have a full content team on site that positions you as a cultural leader, not just another entrepreneur. Creative collaborations already in motion with people who share your values. An unshakable network of creators who will support your vision for decades. And most importantly, you remember who you were before the world told you who to be. I'll say that again. The most important thing of 8 a.m. world is that you remember who you were, who to be. So what's at stake here? So let me break down how this actually works because, of course, logistics matter. So there's 74 total beds available across all of the compound. But here's the thing. Of course, we're going to need the first 10 people to commit so that we can actually lock in the entire villa complex. And that's just how booking works in Bali at this collection of villas, particularly when you're reserving something this big a year in advance. And if we don't have 10 people book by basically October 1st, this just isn't going to happen because we're not going to be able to book it out. So capacity, we have 57 private king rooms and then 18 twin share beds, which means 9 rooms with 2 beds each. So you could share a room. That's 74 total tickets. And then, of course, if you're a king bed, you can bring your partner. So what are the costs involved in something like this? Well, as I mentioned, one of the villas, and I think there's 25 or 27 total. I could be getting that number wrong. Probably around 25. 25 villas, 20K a week roughly each, plus 3K on food per person, flying in monks and spiritual leaders, the creative equipment, and 20 staff to actually put this event together and run it. And so again, before I share the price with you on this, again, remember this is a luxury experience and not everyone's going to be able to actually do the full thing. However, there will be a way to be a part of this at any budget level. I do not care what budget you're at. You can be a part of this at any budget level. It's obviously not going to be free because we have actual cost to cover, but there will be an opportunity. So don't like all freaked out when you see, the costs involved. So yeah, it's like, even if we only had 15 people sign up for this, and again, there's 73 paying spots, it would cost $87,000 just for 15 people, which comes down to $5,800 a person. But it's going to go even a lot more than that because we have 113 people, and the economics of it get a little bit better because you have a bulk discount, etc. But it's going to run about $230,000 to run this whole thing. Now, you also are going to add to that a year of access to this network that we're building, this 100-person creative entrepreneur network that I run weekly calls with so that we can all bounce ideas off of each other and you can attend. You're not obligated to come, but I know a lot of people are busy. These calls are incredibly valuable. And there's also going to be one-on-one consulting with me, an iOS app access, event production to craft an iconic cultural event, where realistically, what we're looking at is margins closer to $10,000 to $12,000 per person. So we are literally delivering something that requires a full year of my team's energy, infrastructure, and time to build. So most tickets for this event are going to be sold at $25,000 a ticket, and people will scoop these as this is a very normal price for an event like this. Some people pay, $60,000 a year for similar kind of events like Cole Gordon's boardroom, but I think that this is way cooler than Cole Gordon's boardroom. I think people could probably echo that. No offense to Cole Gordon, no hate at all, but I think this is cooler. And his cost $60,000. So, however, for the first 10 people that join the founder circle, a ticket will run $15,000. And we need 10 committed founders to lock in the entire villa complex. So this is what's at stake. We need 10 to commit at 15K. And that's just how booking works in Bali when you're trying to reserve something this big a year in advance. Without 10 people in the next 30 days, this literally doesn't happen, which is why this is risky and honestly quite scary because I risk looking really stupid. That being said, in addition to that 15K, you're going to get a white glove concierge experience if you sign up. Obviously, if you're going to Bali, you're going to go longer for 6 days. So we will make sure that your experience is amazing. I'm going to partner with my friend Tom, who runs a concierge in Bali. They'll make sure you're picked up at the airport. You have the perfect place to stay, the best restaurant recommendations, spa bookings, adventure coordination, so that you get the absolute max out of your entire time there. We're also going to include a one-on-one consult with me for a month so that you can get a personal brand upper on your business. I'll help you implement this exact same attention dynamics and meme system that I use to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in my business and millions over the years just from Instagram. And also, of course, the same type of stuff that I applied at that corporate company that I helped give them a record quarter in. You also get a year access to the network that we're building so that you become part of this founding circle and quite literally a cultural movement that people will hear echoes of. There will be supportive relationships from the people that you meet in this group for decades. And you can't imagine the deals, the collaborations, and friendships formed at this event. I mean, I've been running communities for a long time. And the type of things that can be created from two people interacting, the value there is you can't even put a number on it. Similar networks will cost $18,000 a year, and they don't include any sort of retreat. It's literally just a network. And my friend Adam runs Utopia. That's $18,000 a year. Plus, you have to pay for all the events. Number 4, bring your plus one. So when you join the Founders Circle, this is the first 10, you can bring your partner, your spouse, or creative collaborator at no additional cost, which alone saves you and ensures you're both aligned for the transformation ahead. And now I obviously understand that $15,000 is a significant investment, and the experience is also over a year from now. But just remember that you do get to work with me one-on-one for a month, plus get access to a very high-level network and calls throughout the whole year. Plus, I'm including all of the course content where I break down attention dynamics, networking, building elite personal brands, etc. And so the event is really just a massive bonus at the end of the year where we're pouring a ton of resources into it, and we're going to work on making your vision come together throughout the whole entire year. And that's like the time where we come together and we really do it and grapple it in person. And the biggest risk is honestly doing nothing. Like, it's not the money that you spend on this or what you might imagine. Like, I was talking to a guy recently that actually signed up. By the way, we have people that have already committed to this. We have transparently 2 people that have already paid, and we have 7 people that are like transferring money to put the wire in. So that's of the 10 spots, there's basically 3 left at that 15K price point, and then it's going to go up. So, one of the guys was like, who already committed, he was like, yeah, I was going to put the money in a crypto play, but I think that like fulfilling my life's legacy and vision and committing to that is a better bet. And I was like, yeah, I think so too. So speaking of an elite network, here's some of the friends that I'm going to personally invite. I obviously can't guarantee that they're going to come, but there's going to be a collection of extremely high-level people at this event from my own personal network that I think a lot of you guys probably admire and look up to. So I'm really going to include some incredibly talented and gifted individuals that you'll be able to meet, network with, and build alongside. So technically it's application and invite only. And there's, again, going to be a lot of high-level people there. So here's what you need to know about the timing. Again, there's 74 spots available. Now, as of the recording of this, 3 spots available at 15K. After that, the price goes up to 20K and then 25K. The founders will get first choice of the villas as well, so they can choose the best villa. And the application closes for the 10, once we hit 10 for 15,000, or after 30 days, whichever comes first. And so when these 10 spots are gone, they're literally gone forever because margin won't allow us to give that offer anymore. So altogether, You get cliffside villa at these villas in Uluwatu, which is normally $20,000 for a week anyway. Food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a week. We're bringing in spiritual leaders and creative equipment, a month of consulting with me, pro documentation of the entire experience, 20 staff to run this, accessing a network with people that are focusing on creating their creative calling altogether, all my course content, and a white glove concierge for your experience in Bali. There's $88,000 of value if you were to buy it yourself. Today, you can get it for 15K or even 20K. That's an amazing deal. Even 25K is an amazing deal. So if all this has resonated with you, and if you're ready to bet on yourself and a vision that might seem impossible, then please apply at 8amapp.com/apply. Of course, this is application only. We're not taking money from just anybody because we want to make sure that the people there and the whole group is like really a vibe. So we have to have applications. We don't necessarily care if you're just like a rich guy. Like your heart has to be in this. You have to be willing to like commit to this and commit to this over the years. So we're making it application only. It's 8amapp.com/apply. If you go over there, the application is very short. And we'll see if you're one of the 10 who sees what I see. Now, again, there's, as of right now, 3 spots left. If you want to put a deposit down, that is an option, right? But it has to be paid within 30 days. So some people are splitting up 5 and 5 and 5. Some people, whatever, they might come up with something more creative. But as long as it's paid in 30 days, I understand it's like a large investment. If you want to just wipe it all in one wire, that's totally fine. Now I can hear some of you guys in the chat. Actually, this chat looks honestly pretty positive, but I'm sure some of you are thinking that this is, pretty expensive. And you're like, I can't afford that, right? So here is how you join the 8 a.m. movement that we're building here. And as I was saying earlier, any budget can afford this. So if you, at some point over the next year, you decide to join Tribe Accelerator, which is my network of 800 plus guys building around the world, and you get all of my brand frameworks that I've used to build the 8 a.m. brand that I use when I consult at startups, which is, helped create millions and millions of dollars of value for companies. Weekly creative calls with me. We still run a weekly creative call for Tribe. I hosted one earlier today with Sovereign Bra. If you know who he is, it was 3 hours long. Like, we go so hard on these calls. If you guys are in Tribe and we're on that call especially, please drop in the chat how you enjoyed that, and drop a comment below how you enjoy Tribe in general. So if you join Tribe, you get access to those calls, the brand frameworks in the course, all the other courses I have, how to build literal cultural movements, use memes to make money on Instagram, create compelling offers and events, design businesses that create legacy, learn sales. I have a whole sales training in there. Plus, again, guest visionaries from my network that jump on the calls and talk about how they're following God or building their empires as well. Plus a private WhatsApp community where you can meet people, plan trips together, split villas, split apartments, create alongside each other. And the best part, access to the final day of 8 a.m. World Bali. And this is something I haven't talked about this whole talk yet. So please listen. The final day is going to be a full day festival, like pretty much our version of like Burning Man Coachella, but not all the weird stuff. Like, no one's getting pegged in the butt, right? It's like it's high vibration, good values, fun, good music, vibes, off the chart vibes. And obviously, if you come for the day, you're also going to get a trip that we can help you design through the Tribe calls. And you're going to meet other people in Tribe that you can help split the cost of the villa with. And then you have people to go to this festival with. And you can invite girls and whatever you want to do. And so that's something to look forward to throughout the whole rest of the year. It's like over 13 months away. And you'll be able to network alongside everybody that attended the $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 8 a.m. World Retreat. And so the normal investment for Tribe Accelerator, if you join via school right now, is $5,300. But what I'm going to do for you just tonight is everyone who joins Tribe right now, it's $4,000 one time. So you basically get $1,300 off, and it's lifetime access to the school community and the course and everything. Of course, you don't get access to the events full time, and you'll get access to at least, the year of the weekly call. And the link to join, it will be in the chat. So that'll be 4K. If we could have James on here, just type that in the chat and also in the comment section, link to join tribe. And we can also put it in the description of this video. That's probably the best place to put it. So if you also have questions about this, I'm just dropping James's personal phone number here. You can text him. James is my right-hand guy. And if you have questions for James about joining tribe and or making commitment to 8 a.m. world, then you can do that. You can ask James. And so you can WhatsApp him or iMessage him, and he will give you a speedy response. So James, if you could put that link to the 4K to join tribe in the chat, then that would be great. And also the phone number there if you guys want to screenshot it or whatever. So I can obviously still hear some of you guys that maybe are on this and you're a little bit early on your journey and you're just not in the best financial situation yet. Well, first of all, no matter where you're at, you can work the next 6 months, figure out how to make 4K, join tribe, and you have to believe in yourself, right? Like if you can believe in yourself to get to that level, you can make it, right? It's not the most impossible thing in the world. But even still, let's say you want to start now, you want to be a part of this somehow. I understand that because, of course, 6 months before being with you here today, I was couch surfing and shopping at Zara because everything I owned was destroyed. And I literally know what it's like to feel called to do something, but not have the resources to fully step into it yet. And here's the thing, my whole journey, this whole journey, everything I've shared with you tonight, it obviously didn't start with me spending $5,300. It started with daily practices and morning meditation and remembering that I was an artist. Small, consistent actions that reconnected me to who I really was. And are we still live? I just want to make sure that we're still live on YouTube here. I think we are. Okay. So what I'm sharing with you, these daily practices is exactly what the 8 a.m. World app is for. And it's the training grounds. It's a tool that I built where you can start practicing everything that we talked about tonight. And every morning, you get the same practices that I use daily. The meditations that open me to receive these visions, the mindset work that help me trust those downloads, even when they seem impossible, and the daily reminders that you're an artist first, entrepreneur second. It's like having me in your pocket pretty much every morning, helping you remember who you were before the world told you who to be. And here's there are so many testimonials and positive reviews about Maxi and the 8 a.m. app. Like, they're all over the place. I get them every single day still. And I've built this product years ago and people just absolutely love it, as you can see. So right now you can try Maxi for $1. That's it. It's so proven. It's funny. I genuinely believe that if you start with just the daily practices in Maxi and you begin reconnecting to that art self, your life will be filled with a lot more joy and abundance. And maybe it's 6 months, you're ready for Tribe Accelerator. Maybe next year you apply for 8 a.m. World, or maybe you create something completely different that I could never have imagined. But it all starts with this small step of just going to 8amapp.com. The code is 88. You can try it for $1 and start the journey. And these big moments that I'm talking about today, these visions and synchronicities, they only come after you've done the daily work of remembering who you really are. And I encourage you guys to even do this, even if you are paying $15K to join the full experience and the full network. So if you just start with $1, start after this call, start completing your master vision, and just get going on following that path to your highest good, your highest level of contribution as a man. So you just go to 8amapp.com, you can join and start practicing these daily practices to help you become a better man. So without further ado, we have to continue to our next call pretty shortly. Actually, right now, I might have a bit more time because the first time I did this, I had a call right afterward. But if you guys have questions in the chat, I can read those and I can answer them live. I will close with just, this is kind of like my ideal vision. If you pay the 15, and then I think we're going to have to charge a little bit more, probably 3K if you bring your girl. You can imagine this is the experience. You're overlooking the ocean with your muse in Bali at your pool with all these amazing people and friends and people that just quite literally love you and want to push you to be the highest good. Here's like a funny little meme that I had. God telling, all right, Arlin, it's time for your spiritual awakening. And I go, cool, maybe some meditation and journaling. And then he goes, no. And he burns my house down, basically, or my neighborhood. Joe said, what's the difference between 8am Maxi and Tribe Accelerator? Are they all the same thing? So Maxi, you can think of Maxi as, oh, James, I don't think the link worked on your end, James. I don't see it in the chat at least. Maybe put it in the comment section. You can also just, I could go back to James's number. If you guys want to message James, he can answer any questions you have or send you the link if it's not working in the chat or whatever. Okay, so Joe, the difference between 8am Maxi and Tribe Accelerator. So 8am Uluwatu is the whole entire week experience plus one-on-one consulting with me for a week, plus the weekly call. So that's the whole entire experience. And that's my overarching brand is 8am. That's like my world, right? Within that, we have Tribe Accelerator. Tribe Accelerator is my education platform where I teach branding, networking, and a whole entire 7-week system, really to how to become a better man, make your vision come to life, and use social media to make that happen. How to create trips and experiences yourself where you can meet like-minded people and and just grow your network and grow your business and grow your relationships. So that's Tribe. I've run that for years now, and we have 800 members in Tribe. It's more of like a course, right? 8am World Uluwatu is an experience, 6-day retreat. Tribe is a course transformation, and Maxi is embedded within the 8am app, which Maxi is the transformational tool you can get started for $1. And it basically helps you define your master vision for your life. And it helps you to get clear on like the key actions that you have to take in order to make that vision come to life. Okay. So it's basically the story behind Maxi was I was coming out of a really difficult time in my life. I had just gone through a pretty intense breakup. I had actually kind of gone to zero again financially. And I would move back to Boston in this apartment I kind of couldn't afford. And I got this kind of vision to just start writing my goals on my kitchen cabinets, which were doubled as whiteboards. And I was writing, on the kitchen cabinets, and I was like, wait a second, like this system would be really cool. I was writing in a very specific way. Like I had like who I needed to be, my overall mission, the action steps that I needed to do each week and then each day. And it was just like, I was very interested in the 80-20 principle and mental reprogramming to like get yourself focused on certain like goals. And so I was putting this whole thing together in real life. And then I was like, maybe I could like actually build an app that helps people, use this system in like a mass way. And they don't have to just write on their whiteboards, like on their kitchen cabinets. So then the pandemic hit and I had nothing to do. And I basically was like, all right, I'm just going to try. And I started teaching myself how to code basically. And I ended up building version 1. And we got the first 30 people in, took feedback, iterated, got another 30 people in, took feedback, iterated, launched a second version. And then before we knew it, we had over 5,000 members and insanely positive case studies and transformations from people all over the world that were using this tool to make their life better. So that was that's Maxi. I mean, it's a tool. You can think of it as like an online journal that is attached to the vision that you are meant to live in your life. And if you don't even know what that vision is, there's actually a way using the tool that helps you tune into what that vision is for you specifically. So it's been a really cool ride with Maxi, and it's helped a lot of people to grow. Does anyone have any other questions about 8am Uluwatu? Again, if you want to apply to the Uluwatu experience, all you do is go to 8amapp.com/apply. And it's going to be amazing. I'm extremely excited for it. And I know that it's going to happen. I just know that it's going to happen. And if it doesn't, I might look stupid and you guys will laugh at me. But I'm really someone that believes like if you have something on your heart and it's calling you, you have to pursue it. You know, you have to pursue it regardless of the consequences. And so that's what I'm doing here, guys. And I hope if anything, this was inspiring to you to chase a vision that you have. And I hope that you're one of 74. And if you're not, and let's say you're like, you know what, I love this. I want to be a part of this in some way, but I can't particularly join or I can't afford it. Send it to someone, share it with someone, drop a comment, share it on your social media. If you think this is cool and inspiring, share it with someone who might think it's also cool and inspiring and could be one of the 74. That's what I'm looking for. So if there's no more questions, I think I'll just end it off here. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I'm really grateful to you guys for all the support and the time and attention and energy you gave into this. And I will leave this posted. I don't know for how long. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. So thank you so much. Again, if you're here live, shoot me a message on Instagram. If you're live or even if you're watching it later, if you enjoyed this, shoot me a message on Instagram. You can message James on his number. And let's see if this is meant to happen, guys. I'm excited. All right, I'm going to end the stream. I'll see you guys later.